The theme for this month is threshold, and what that means to me is that we're kind of like, you have some choices. If you think about like a doorway, if you grab one of these cute little calendars, you'll see a little doorway on there. And then it's like I have an opportunity or a choice to walk through this doorway. We have these opportunities all the time, and they're constantly around us. And it's interesting. It feels like oftentimes as we start to take a series of doorways, sometimes it takes a long time to get routed back on the path that we wanted to go on, or that we thought we were supposed to go on, or whatever the case may be. But if we can kind of like just learn whatever that pathway is, whatever those transitions are, if we can just try to feel into what the lesson is, what the experience is giving us, how can I be useful at some point in time because of whatever it is that at these doorways that I'm being forced to go through, or these things that keep showing up because of different choices or whatever. Because that's really all we have in this world, is a bizarre series of choices that show up. And then what we do with that is another choice, you know? And then it's like, how do I take that and turn it into something useful for another human being? I'm a really firm believer, those of you that have been around me long enough know that it's like we're here to serve one another. Like, that's it. I don't care what your spiritual affiliation is, but for me, I feel like whatever you want to call it, put a bumper sticker on it that says universe, put a bumper sticker on it that says God, put a bumper sticker that says all that is, put it, whatever it is. I don't care what your bumper sticker is, the source, but whatever that energy is, we're the hands for that. And you cannot be good hands unless you get your hands really, really dirty. You see somebody with like really, really soft hands. I remember there was some person that came into my life early on. I was like, I don't think you've ever done anything hard in your life. Like, I looked at their hands and I was like, I don't think you've ever like done anything before. And he kind of laughed about that and blah, blah, blah. But you look for something about that. Like, there's something about that, like the strength of the scars and the things that show up on you that make you a better tool in that toolbox to help more people and do more things. So like, it's okay. Take your licks, take your garbage, take it, but don't throw it away and go, oh, I don't know why everything bad always happens to me. Maybe you're going to find out one day. You're going to find out that you're going to be like really, really useful and the shiniest and the sharpest tool in the toolbox for somebody else's life. You know, I was listening to you guys talk, and it's like, you've gone through some stuff and you get to be a tool now for somebody else, you know, and you'd never in a million years think that that was what was going to happen, you know, and then here you are. And I know you are, and I know you are, you know. I mean, like, I know that this is what we do, you know, and I know you are. So we all are, you know. So we take that. So when we come along on these paths and these things show up in front of us, and we're like, I cannot believe that I'm at another crappy doorway. Just be patient, okay? Because there might be something that you're going to gain from that that's going to give you a lot more than you could ever imagine. So we're such instant gratification people. Instant gratification. We don't want to wait. We don't want to see. We don't want to pause. We live in a world where the phone gives us everything in a second. You looked me up on Google. You found out in about 0.2 seconds that there was a meditation place close by. Do you know what I mean? You didn't have to like drive all over the place and try to figure it out. You're like, hey, yeah, sweet. You know, we get all of our answers like this quick, you know, and weirdly, that has distorted our thinking so much to believe that that's the way that the world actually works, and it doesn't, you know? I mean, we used to have rotary phones. There used to be telephone operators. There used to be things that made all of this stuff that we take for granted now, like, so much slower. So we just need to kind of be patient, slow down. It's okay. I'm going through some crap. I've got things in the field that I wish weren't there. When is this going to be over? Is it almost happening? Is it almost done? When am I going to be? All the things that we say, right? I have a girlfriend that's been going through a really hard time with her child since December. He's been very ill, very, very ill. And I've asked everybody in the Reiki group to send Reiki to him throughout the course of things. And it has just seemed like it's never, ever going to be better. And she sent me a Marco Polo, and she's like, this is the first time since December that I can actually see a glimmer of my kid coming back. And she's like, and quite honestly, he's been so sick since 2020, off and on, that this is actually, I'm like, oh, I forgot. I totally forgot that he was like a happy child at one point in time, you know? And so, and she's been waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally the clouds are starting to break. We just never know, you know, because we want it today, right? So who's never meditated? Who has never, ever, ever meditated? One. Whatever, you and Jack. You're filling in for Jack. Really, no meditation ever? Okay. So, but everybody else, pretty much, yeah? So I believe so much in the power of unifying energy when we meditate. And so for tonight, we are going to do a quiet meditation. I'll just do a little bit of talking, and then we're going to quiet down, and we're going to go slow. We're going to like step into this slowness and kind of teeing this up for everybody. What I would love for everybody to do is, in your mind, energetically, and remember, nobody comes to a meditation class to bum anybody else out. We all come because we want to feel better, so we're in a safe zone. Like energetically, we're all safe to kind of like buoy each other up a little bit. But I want to use that energy. We've got all kinds of stuff we were talking about. There's an eclipse coming up, and there's a meteor shower, and there's this, and there's that. This coming weekend, there's this huge planetary thing. That's why we're having that retreat this weekend. There's like all this stuff happening. So I just want us, this is like our night to put on our bulletproof vests together. So we'll look at it like that, okay? And we'll be able to do that in a quiet meditation. So before we get started, for those two people that have never meditated before, I'm going to say things like we're going to focus on our breath. We don't do counting in this class. I have found that counting the breath is probably the most discouraging thing you could ever do. And it's like, I would rather have nails on a chalkboard than try to do that, because I can't. It's because the theory is you count until you get distracted and then you have to start over again. Well, you'll just be saying one forever, and then that's it. And so just the in and the out, or a sat and a nam, we'll talk about that when I'm doing this, in order to kind of focus on our breath. So the position is to sit up nice and tall. If you're really feeling like I can't be comfortable in my own skin, then you're welcome to lie down, but you want your feet on the floor and your knees to the ceiling. But for the most part, if everybody can just sit up nice and tall. So thinking of the head being pulled up like a marionette, that will make the chin tuck slightly. The eyes gently close down so that they're not smashed down, but it will almost like a sliver, just a bare sliver of light may come in. If you do that, then we're going to root our sits bones into our cushion. We want to make sure we're on something, unless you're on a chair, we want to make sure that we're sitting so that our hips are higher than our knees. Put a little soft smile on your face. And then if it feels good to you, you can draw your imaginary gaze point. So your eyes, with your eyes closed, you're going to like look towards your third eye. That activates that pineal gland. And then just breathe in and out, nice and soft and smooth. You can feel the air coming in and out. One thing that you can do is that if you start to get distracted, just go, oh yeah, that's right. I'm just feeling the breath coming in and I'm just feeling the breath going out. If you want to attach words to it, you can just say in and out. Or for those of you that do any type of Kundalini practice, you sat nam. You can also say ah, so you can, there's other things that you can say to match with that breath. There are sounds all around us, and you will hear me speak intermittently through this. But what I really want you to be with is the sound of your breath. Try not to breathe too shallowly. Get that breath into your diaphragm. And then as you're breathing, I just want you to picture, imagine, or think about kind of like a little energetic bubble with your breath, kind of expanding with your breath. And so if I want my vibration to be higher, my bubble is going to get bigger with my breath. And it's okay that it touches the bubble of the person next to me. And as it touches the person next to me, it expands even larger, like bubbles on a tray, until we make one beautiful bubble. And all of our energy filling up that space. Making a commitment to ourselves that any trials that we have going on in our life or that we've experienced up until this point are for the betterment of ourselves and for all of mankind in one way or another. Maybe providing a hand for someone, or just like you guys to just think about for a moment, just on any person in your life that you care deeply about, and just send them just a blessing of love. Anybody. It's almost like a wish that you send to them with love, and keep them in your mind while you're breathing. Now we just think of maybe a group of people that you want to wish love to. Maybe there's, you're concerned about children, or concerned about the elderly, or just a small group of people that you just want to wish love to. And then just envision that love going to them. And then finally, just pick one person that you just have like a little teensy weensy bit of a problem with. Maybe a little, nothing too big, just a little. And then just focus on them and then wish them love. And now we're going to circle all the way back to ourselves and just envisioning that you have all of the love and the peace that you need, and just focus just on that. It's almost like you're envisioning a shower of that pouring over you. So now in this room, we'll just kind of focus on that where love can just radiate out to each person in this room, and we'll make like a net together. Bring your awareness back to the tip of your nose. You can start to bring a little tiny bit of movement back into your body as you break your concentration. And allow your eyes to be the very last thing to come back online. So, meditation is your respite from the world. That's the way I look at it. Quentin and I just got back from a conference, and I taught a class on meditation and why it was important to meditate. And as I was teaching it, I just kept on thinking about like the times that I'm so out of whack, like in my nervous system and in my brain, like the crap that goes on in there. And if I can get my crap together enough to eye patch, and for those of you that have worked with me, you know what I mean about that, and B, meditate, it's like whatever that Metallica screaming band that's in my head can go away, and I can have peace again. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's almost like I just remove myself from whatever that chaos is, but I have to be disciplined enough to go and do it, like, because we get so caught in our like. And Quentin knows when I have an eye patch. He's like, sounds to me like you probably should eye patch. Because I'll call him and I'm talking really, really fast. You know, that's usually the first cue. Like I'm talking like a rabbit, and he's like, "Did you eye patch today?" I'm like, "What is it?" Yeah. So then I do that, and then I'm like, "Oh, okay, I can stop now." And then I can go and I can sit on my cushion. And then when I sit on my cushion, it's like, that's the break that I needed. I just needed it so bad. I had to stop. And so we don't do that. And if we don't do that for ourselves once in a while, and we don't learn how important that is, you know, it's like brushing your teeth. It's like it is mental hygiene for you, mental, spiritual, emotional hygiene for you. You know, it really is. Which turns into physiological. Like you will turn into, that's where all this stuff comes from, the aches and the pains. Okay. So, speaking of cool things that we do for ourselves, we have next weekend, there is I need another pair of glasses. I need bifocals. And I really am not doing it. Like there was something hardcore that like I'm too young to put the bifocals on. So I should have like a second pair of glasses on because that's way cooler to have to like trade out glasses totally. So, or I'll just lift these up and then squint to be able to see that it says Sacred Sound and Yoga Nidra. So that's on the 22nd. And that's we still have space for that, right? Yes? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. And then if anybody's ever looking to become a Reiki practitioner, we have a really cool opportunity this month. We only do it a couple times a year, and this is the August attunement, and it's the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th. So if that like journey has ever been calling to you, like what would that mean for me to be able to like open up the chakra points on my hands and be able to start to facilitate and help move and facilitate energy? Ask me all about it. I'll tell you all about it. Okay. All right. See you all next week. If anybody has any questions, we're always here. So thank you, everybody. Thank you.